Welcome to Module 3, Online Tool and Territorial Action Plans. Implementing a territorial action plan, particularly in the context of waste electrical and electronic equipment, often encounters several common pitfalls that undermine its effectiveness. In this video, we will go through common mistakes when implementing one and strategies to avoid them. Although strong EU legislation exists on WEEE management, WEEE territorial action plans underperform in the EU. For example, even though producers are legally responsible for collection, local authorities do not actively enforce obligations, citizens are unaware of nearby collection points, and informal operators capture valuable WEEE. As a result, official collection rates remain well below EU targets, despite the existence of strong EU-level legislation. So why do territorial action plans underperform, and how can we improve their implementation? Implementing a territorial action plan for waste management often fails due to structural, methodological, and social oversights. These pitfalls can be grouped into 4 categories: governance and design mistakes, monitoring and enforcement failures, infrastructure and awareness oversights, and the last category is about methodological and target setting pitfalls. Fragmented responsibilities across ministries, regions, and municipalities often result in duplicated efforts, weak accountability, and low collection rates for WEEE. Poor cooperation further undermines system efficiency. Treating each municipality as a separate legal regime creates inconsistencies. The absence of aligned rules and shared oversight mechanisms allows loopholes to persist across administrative and national boundaries. How to avoid this situation? Establish a clear governance structure at an early stage, supported by formal coordination mechanisms. Harmonize national and regional regulations, strengthen cooperation, and embed transnational monitoring systems to close loopholes and improve WEEE collection and compliance outcomes. A territorial WEEE action plan must include strong public awareness and stakeholder engagement, as system performance depends on broad participation. Clear, targeted messaging for households, businesses, and institutions should link awareness to proper disposal and higher collection rates. Early co-creation with public authorities, producers, recyclers, and civil society ensures shared ownership, better data quality, and access to expertise and funding. Without inclusive engagement, implementation suffers, informal handling persists, and enforcement and collection targets are harder to achieve. Under the WEEE II directive, member states are legally required to establish minimum inspection and monitoring systems to oversee producer compliance, treatment facility operations, and waste shipments. However, evidence indicates that these systems are frequently inadequate due to a lack of resources, personnel, and institutional capacity within national enforcement authorities. But what can be done? Making WEEE treatment standards mandatory across all member states would harmonize enforcement, improve audit quality, and enhance traceability of waste flows. Stronger transnational enforcement networks and closer cooperation with customs authorities can compensate for limited national capacities and improve detection of non-compliance and illegal shipments. Digital solutions can modernize monitoring while reducing the burden on inspectors. Regulatory improvements, including moving from a directive to a regulation, banning cash transactions, and harmonizing B2B reporting, would close loopholes and increase transparency. Finally, adapting risk-based inspection strategies and allowing cost recovery for inspections would help authorities allocate scarce resources more effectively and focus enforcement where risks are highest. Significant information and data gaps hinder the effective management and evaluation of waste electrical and electronic equipment systems, creating a substantial knowledge gap. These limit the effective oversight and evaluation of waste systems, reducing transparency and weakening evidence-based policymaking. Insufficient and inconsistent information affects the assessment of environmental, economic, and material recovery performance across the EU. To strengthen WE monitoring and close data gaps, it is recommended to improve methodologies through data triangulation and stakeholder engagement, while transparently acknowledging data limitations. Digital tools can enhance traceability and reporting accuracy. In parallel, harmonized reporting rules, targeted monitoring and untracked flows, and clear KPIs are needed to ensure comparability and long-term assessment. These efforts must be supported by adequate resources and stronger coordination between national authorities and registers. Treating education as a secondary activity in WE management is a major problem. Low separate collection rates are closely linked to limited consumer knowledge, while insufficient public awareness contributes to low segregation and therefore illegal dumping. Many consumers simply do not know how or where to dispose of WE because public education measures are missing or inadequate. Ignoring education reduces the effectiveness of collection systems and makes it harder to achieve national and local WE targets. To address this, territorial action plans should embed continuous education and awareness campaigns as core strategies. This includes integrating school-based curricula to build knowledge from an early age, organizing adult learning workshops, and running multilingual campaigns to reach diverse audiences. By making education central to the plan, authorities can drive long-term behavioral change, increase participation in formal collection schemes, and reduce illegal or improper disposal of WE. Inadequate financial coverage in WE management is characterized by a failure to account for the full spectrum of operational, administrative, and indirect costs associated with waste treatment. While EPR fees and material revenues are theoretically intended to cover management costs, many stakeholders report that these funds are only partially sufficient. This can be addressed by implementing eco-modulated fees, where producers' contributions reflect the durability, repairability, and recyclability of their products. Transparency can be further improved by displaying visible fees on purchase bills, helping consumers understand the environmental costs associated with the products they buy. Methodological and target setting pitfalls arise when uniform collection targets are applied across all product categories without accounting for differences in product lifespans. In particular, relying exclusively on equipment placed on the market as the basis for targets can be unrealistic for long-lived products, such as photovoltaic panels or air conditioners, which may not enter the waste stream for 15 years or more. To avoid this mismatch, hybrid target setting approaches should be explored, combining POM-based targets for stable markets with WE-generated targets for products with long lifespans or highly variable sales patterns. Overall, to ensure a transnational action plan succeeds, stakeholders must avoid key pitfalls. Plans often fail when based on incomplete or inconsistent data, rely on uniform one-size-fits-all models, or neglect stakeholder engagement, including the informal sector. Weak enforcement, regulatory ambiguities, and unaddressed economic or technical barriers, such as insufficient treatment facilities or misaligned recycling targets, further undermine effectiveness. Territorial action plans must account for local conditions, ensure clear responsibilities, and provide adequate incentives and resources to achieve meaningful environmental and economic outcomes. Thank you for watching.